Okay, today I'm going to be putting up this cheap little greenhouse because we had that really cold snap and I'm not too sure whether my seeds are going to be growing. So I'm going to get down now, stuck in, and I'm going to start building this greenhouse. It shouldn't be much. Let's hope it is not a two-man job. I've never put one of these together, so it should be real fun. Well, let me open the packet and not let it fall around, and I'll be back with you. Well, they've got a set of assembly instructions here, and they don't seem too difficult to follow. They've got A's, they've numbered it all down into different components of D's and A's and J's and C's, and then a couple of numbers in there for the couplings themselves, and they've got them all listed over here. And then, of course, the most important thing is they've got assembly instructions on where to tie it down. So let me get to opening the rest of the boxes and I'll have a look at what we've got. Okay, what I've done is I've laid everything out in their order. The little pipe starting with A, then B, then C, then D, E, and F over there, and the numbers starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what is this one? This is 5, 14 and 15 over there. And then now I'm going to go through, I'm going to get my list, because I've got everything in order now, and I'm going to check if I've got all the components before I start to assemble. Okay, all that's left to do now is to grab the instructions and start putting things together. So, first I need a C, and then I will have a coupling here. They don't tell me which one it is, but it looks like one of these. So I'll put that together. And then there's another one that they're not mentioning what it is, but I think it's probably going to be, looks like an A. One thing about the instructions is they're not very, very specific. You have to do quite a lot of guesswork. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's that one over here. So let me put that in over here. Then they'll say I need an E, which will go along here. You see, I'm first putting the base together. Okay, I now have the base set up, and now I'll start slowly building upwards and making sure that everything comes together nice and smooth. The structure is now 1 tier high. Now I've got to go to the next level and then put on the roof structure. But we're getting a good idea of the proportions of this. It's a very small greenhouse. I bought some extra racks to fit in here so I can get as much as I can. But once I've done that, I must start now looking at where I want to position it before I fix it into the ground. And then I'll tell you what I consider when I'm doing that. Okay, I've got to the next level high here, where you must note that there's no beams going across either the front or the back here. And so all the joints and that do make sense when you get into them. Another thing that I did notice, these trays here are quite nice because they should fit in really easy. So if they don't, just pull these joints together, meaning that you haven't really got them in deep enough. And so they fit really, really comfortably, and they should slip in and out easily. Now the next step is to take the next lot and put them up here and go towards the center before we assemble the center pole. So let's get to that now. As you can see, I've got all these beams going up towards the center here, and the center beam will provide the strength to the structure. So what we've got to do is we first take the last two remaining beams, which are both D's, and we'll now start putting these pieces together. Remember, the outside one will be there, then you've got an inside joint which will go into the middle, and then you put another piece on. This is really a quick, easy assemble because it's all just snapping joints. Like that, and then we'll start to assemble the structure. Now, quite short, so but that's good. Now that we've got these two ones in here, I can put the center one in there, like this, and then we can put the others in. And you can see I'm pushing them towards each other, and this is what will hold the strength and make it quite a strong structure. There we go. That's quite a strong structure. Now I must have a look at the plot and see where I want to put this structure to keep before I bolt it down. Now, we all know that when placing a greenhouse, it needs to get the maximum amount of sun to warm it up. But there's also other considerations to make. Now, with an area as confined as this, because I've got fixed beds that I can't do much around, I must consider what else has to be done in this place. Now, I know, for instance, with the beds, I have to be able to get round all the sides of the beds so that I can plant and I can dig and I can do all sorts of other things. I can weed. But also, I've got a whole lot of bins that are on the one side of the yard. Now, I have to get in and out and access of those. But there's also another consideration that I must make when I place this greenhouse. And that is, I know in the food forest, I'm going to be removing all sorts of concrete and hard landscaping and stuff like this. And it has to come through here to get to that door over there where I can load it into my car and I can take it to the tip. So there's quite a bit of movement that's going to be happening. Now, I don't want the greenhouse to be in the way of the movement. So I've got to locate it somewhere that I think will fit everything with this. And so now I'm just going to start placing the greenhouse and imagining where I want things so that I can get a good idea of how to feel to work, because I've also got a wheelbarrow that I want to try and get access through. And then, of course, I've got the guy ropes of the greenhouse itself that'll be anchoring into the ground, and that'll also be a consideration. So let me get to that and see what I can do. I've decided to put the greenhouse here because we've got these guy ropes, and they'll come to about here, and they support strength for the top here. And so the other one is over here, but then I've also got the wheelbarrow that I can safely wheel past here, and it gives me lots and lots of room around the edges. Now I can also get access all the way around the bed very, very comfortably. Plus, I can now move my wheelie bins to wherever I want them without any real problem. So this is where I'm going to fix my greenhouse. But the next step now is obviously to get the cover on, and let's see how it looks and how pretty it can be. Okay, the greenhouse is up, the cover is on. Now I want to go inside and start to tie this on to the inside, and then I've got to find a way of driving these stakes into my asphalt here. These are plastic. I know if I hit them with a hammer, they're not just going to go straight in, they will probably break. So I'm going to have to figure out how I can do that. So come inside with me and we'll go in, we'll tie the knots inside. Okay, on all the four corners, above and below, we got little ties like this. Now, they have to be tied to hold the sheeting firmly onto the bars. Now, I'm not happy with the way that is going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tie it, I think, this way around so that I can secure it, that it doesn't fly all over the place. There we are. Now, I've just got 7 more to do, and then I can go outside and we can start fixing things there. the last place I had to put pegs was in this corner over here, and on each of these edges the bottom beams have got little holes, and they're meant for these little pegs. But the cement being, or the tarmac asphalt being so strong and thick and hard, I tried to knock one in, and this is what happened. So it is important to try and anchor the base down as well. So I'm going to have to think of a different solution here, and I'm thinking I'm just going to put a plank over and a stone on each one just to hold it down a little bit on each of the corners. So I'll get to that now. Okay, well, my greenhouse is up. It's looking very pretty. It's in the right position. And just a couple of things on the greenhouse. If you are going to buy a cheap greenhouse, try to get a plastic that has the string woven in like I've got, because other plastic is very, very fragile and it tears quite easily, whereas the string gives it added strength. Now, it is very, very warm inside there. And another thing as well, if you are putting these guy ropes that hold the top of the structure and it's hard going, don't give up. Persist with those guy ropes, because they are important and they do give the structure a lot of strength. Don't just try and weigh it down with a piece of stone or something like that. Get a firm footing for it, because when the winds do come and they do buffet it around, you want your structure to be as strong as possible. Now, it's not foolproof, but it is there for a reason. And just my comments on this greenhouse, even though the instructions were, I think, somewhat lacking, it was a very, very easy build. It wasn't complicated, and if you've got a little diagram, and if you look at the diagram properly, you will be able to put most things together quite easily. Now, I did this by myself. I think putting the plastic over the top was the most difficult, because I'm quite short and you have to lift the plastic right up and then drop it down. Otherwise, yes, it's a very easy build, and I hope that it brings me a lot of success with my seedlings and stuff like this. I certainly do feel I'm a lot better off with it, because now, you know, at least I know my seedlings will germinate, and then I have a better chance of, when I'm planting them out, to be a successful crop. But for today, I thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Ta-da! Yes! Please subscribe!